Welcome back to the Kick and Post podcast, your place for NFL news, fantasy news, eventually basketball news, everything under the sun, sports, excluding baseball. I don't really like baseball. But how y'all doing today? I'm doing pretty good. Figured we'd hop on here as a collective, separated by transitions, to tell y'all how we feel about this week, first week of the NFL free agency market. My name's Amal Thompson, and this is Kick and Post. Did I already say that? I don't know if I already said that. Anyway, first, what was the best move last week? Obviously, we could talk Deshaun Watson to the Cleveland Browns in a trade. We could talk Matt Ryan to the Colts, which I think definitely does a number for them in the AFC South that's filled with competitors, filled with Super Bowl contenders. But I'm going to lean and I'm going to cheat with the AFC West. I know. Amal, you could have just said the Chargers. Nah. More Russell Wilson to the Broncos. I guess. Right? But the whole AFC West has been doing their best impression of the arms race. Just adding on talent. Making it who could score the most points. I feel like that division is going to have the most points per game for each team as a collective compared to the rest of the NFL. The Broncos got better with Russ, right? The Chiefs got better with Juju. I mean, a lot of people are kind of underplaying the Juju move, but I love it. Even for fantasy, I love it. We're talking about the Chargers adding Gerald Everett on offense to solidify that tight end spot, but also keeping all their guys, re-signing Mike Williams, and then adding to the defensive side of the ball with crazy ferocity. They added Khalil Mack and J.C. Jackson to deals, right? That secondary is going to be crazy. And they need to be, with Devonta Adams joining the fold with the Las Vegas Raiders, reuniting with his Fresno State quarterback, Derek Carr, having to deal with Waller, Carr, and Renfro as a defense is going to be a problem, but everybody's stepping up to the challenge, right? So I love what the AFC West has done in general to make their division the division to watch and the division to draft from when it comes to fantasy football. Where I was hurt in free agency first week, right? Because, of course, there's still a lot to happen and unfold before the draft as well. But first week of NFL free agency are the Jags, man. As a Jags fan, I knew Trevor Lawrence needed weapons. I knew that we needed to get people around him to help this thing flow. But while other teams went out and acquired a rocket launcher, right? Explosives. We went out and got a wet cracker. A butter knife, a toothpick, right? That's this group we assembled to put with Trevor, right? Zay Jones for 3 years, $30 million is egregious. I don't care what anybody tells me. He's a seventh-year receiver who is yet to break out. And when I mean yet to break out, like get over 700 yards in a season breakout, right? We signed Christian Kirk, 25 years old, to a 4-year, $84 million deal, loaded with incentives. So I've come to terms with that, right? Filled with incentives. I think the base pay rate is 4 years, $72 million. And we have language that could get us out of that contract, especially the last 2 years of the deal. And we add Evan Ingram, which I mean, athletic tight end with bricks for hands. Definitely has drop issues, but better than anything we've had at the tight end position in a while. My only concern is that we gave up on C.J. Henderson after a year to go acquire Dan Arnold. And now, unless we're playing two tight end sets, we're looking at Dan Arnold being a backup to Evan Ingram. But besides the point, we went out and tried to acquire all the youngest, most athletic dudes that were out on free agency. But we paid them the bag. And that was my concern as a Jags fan because I felt like we could have done so much better with the money. Granted, we're not a trade destination or a free agency destination, but that doesn't mean we pay 30 to 40% above market rate of these guys to keep them out there. And then we let a guy like DJ Chark leave to go to the Lions. I love Chark, and maybe he had no intentions of coming back, but the Lions? You left Jacksonville to go to the Lions? Maybe there was something in the cards. Maybe he likes Jared Goff's deep throwing ability, but I just don't see the potential in that for him as a young player going there. I'm hearing news of Laviska possibly getting moved. That hurts my stomach. I love him as a player. I feel like he hasn't gotten the right opportunity to break out. He hasn't been used to his strengths. So it's going to hurt to see him leave if that does come to fruition. But The Jags definitely let me down, man. And I feel like unless we target guys in the draft, especially the second round of the draft, I'm going to be left feeling kind of down about it. There's a lot more that I feel about this about this free agency week. The Niners not being able to move Jimmy. Question marks there. What will we do with Trey Lance from a fantasy perspective? What will they do with Trey Lance, seeing as he's supposed to be the quarterback of the future, but Jimmy can't be moved, whether it be asking price too high or people worried about his surgery? With the Browns acquiring Deshaun Watson in a trade, what happens to a guy like Baker? Is he the quarterback out in Seattle? Does he go to New Orleans to battle with Jameis, who signed a new deal? Does he go to Atlanta to battle with Mariota, who just signed a deal? So many questions out there in the ether for all these guys. We'll definitely break it down more, but I decided, you know what? Let me just pass it to Otto. I want to hear what he has to say about free agency, coming from a Niners fan who sounded excited for Trey Lance to start, but how soon, right? How soon will Trey Lance start? Let's get a take from Otto. What's going on with it? What's going on with it, Otto?
My favorite offseason move so far through the first week of the NFL free agency period would have to be the franchise tagging of Devonta Adams with the subsequent trade for a first and second round pick to the Raiders. Knowing that a player doesn't really want to be there and knowing you can get value out of that, I do rate that move a lot. We'll see what they do with the picks. Historically, the Packers have not been good with getting Aaron Rodgers the help he needs at the wide receiver position or skill positions in general in the first round at Jordan Love. But we will see what they can do. I mean, Rodgers just signed a massive deal there as well. I'm sure he cannot be happy, but I feel like he knew that Devonta didn't want to play there. So I think it was all in the cards. Devonta got a huge contract for the Raiders, and he just wanted out of Green Bay, so it worked out for both parties. He got paid. Packers got picks. And that leads into my least favorite move, which actually isn't by a team, it's by a player. Zadari Smith was supposed to sign with the Ravens. I think that would have been a really solid place for him to go. And he decided to go back on his deal and sign with the Vikings, who, in my opinion, aren't a very strong team this year. Going to be middle of the pack. I still think Aaron Rodgers owns the NFC North. Regardless of losing Devontae, they're going to obviously reload. But I don't see that team going very far. And if his goal was money, sure, he was going to get a decent deal with the Ravens. But all in all, I think he should have stuck with the Ravens. They're really shoring up their defense, especially at safety, signing Marcus Williams from the Saints. But that is why I don't really like that play. It's more of a losing play for me. But that has been my best and worst free agent signings moves this first week. And now I'm going to pass the mic to Say Less K.
Let's get straight to it. Best move of the offseason, you know, the Bengals. We got La'el Collins on a 3-year. It's looking real good. You know, the line's coming in nice. So this finally opens up stuff for the Bengals during the draft. We don't have to draft a lineman now. We can take best off the board. If that's a lineman, great, you know, even better. If not, we getting better regardless. That's a dub, baby. Who I have with the worst move of the offseason, I think is clear as day, Christian Kirk. He's a top 5 paid receiver. Like, that shouldn't even be a sentence. Brett hasn't even proved himself as a 1, and he's getting paid more than ones on another team. It's crazy to me, but hopefully it works out. Hopefully Lawrence found his boy. I got faith. You know, I'm a risk taker, but for 80+ mil, I don't know, man.